This is why jealousy is such a pointless emotion. Because you look at somebody that ostensibly has it all sorted out, the Elon Musk as an example, or Tiger Woods or something, right? You look at these guys and you think, I'd love Elon Musk's work ethic or his IQ or his whatever. Or I'd love Tiger Woods' golfing ability. You go, hang on a second. You don't get to pick little items of that person's wardrobe and put them on like you're in a fucking store. It's a onesie, right? This isn't pick and choose. This is a wholesale sale.
Yeah.
You have to take Elon Musk's body image and his relationship with his father and the way that his brain feels when he falls asleep in the pillow at night. And you don't know fuck all about what the actual inner landscape of that man's existence is like. Tiger Woods is a perfect example. Like, people would love to be Tiger Woods for his golf ability, but he was racially abused by his dad on the golf course throughout his entire childhood. They even had a safe word like you do during rough sex. It was the E word. His dad would be abusing him on the golf course, saying these white people are never going to let someone like you play here. And he would say, if you ever need to make it stop, you can just tell me, say the word and I'll make it stop. It was the E word. And he never once said it throughout his childhood. It was enough. Never once said it. You go, okay, so part of the price of being Tiger Woods is to be abused by your own father, to consider winning as the only thing that is worthy, to the point where your sense of self-worth is so low that you can't hold a marriage together. You have the most public marriage failure in history. You spend more than half a decade out of the sport with injuries because of how hard you push yourself with training. You crash your car and break both of your legs within the last 18 months, pulled over by the side of the road on antipsychotics, all of these things. That's the price that you need to pay to be Tiger Woods. That's the price that you have to pay if you want to be the best in the world. Do you want to pay that price? Most people wouldn't pay that price. And this is why jealousy is such a pointless emotion. All of these people that you're jealous of, that you think have amazing lives, you don't get to pick little bits of the things that they do. And sometimes the sacrifices they need to make en route to the thing that you see is a bill that if you looked at it at the end of the night, you'd be like, no fucking way.
Yeah, Elon on Joe Rogan's podcast said, you wouldn't want to be me. And it was this very quiet, sincere, deep moment where you said something, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but it was basically that, like, you wouldn't want to be me. And it was this admission of like, all right, there's a lot of amazing things. And I know he's probably has a lot of days and experiences that are unlike anything we could ever imagine, but also the quiet challenges that are carried within, as you said, and I think it's a really good analogy to say it's not a piece of clothing, it's a onesie. And to just understand that it can actually diminish these feelings of jealousy. But really, I want to also try and draw a distinction between envy and jealousy, because to me, those are slightly different things, right? Jealousy is like the active, in some ways it has like this active principle to it. You can be jealous, and of course in a relationship you can get jealous and you get fueled with kind of anger. And sometimes actually you can turn that, because I always say I was polyamorous for a while, so I dealt with jealousy a lot. And jealousy was, you were able to turn that into anger, which not healthy, not good, but it was transmutable. It was kind of like, it had a lot of energy to it. And you could also sometimes turn it into turn on too. And this is the whole, this is like there's a whole field of people who get turned on by things that make them jealous. You can scroll any kind of porn search queue list and you'll see like jealousy inducing things that cause people to get turned on. It's like kind of like the active principle, and often is specific. Mm-hmm. Envy is cold. And I think it was Shinzen Young, the Buddhist teacher, who said envy is the hardest emotion to transmute in the Buddhist teachings. Like that's the one that actually you can't transmute that into something else. You actually have to go this kind of leapfrog approach, turning envy into jealousy, which is this more almost aggressive, more passionate form of envy. But envy is just this cold, lonely, like kind of dark place where you're just wishing that you were somebody else,
Envy is the only one of the 7 deadly sins that doesn't feel good.
That's another fucking great way to say it.
Wrath, gluttony, sloth, all that stuff. right? Like they feel good in the moment. You might feel shit about yourself when you reflect on it, but
Right.
envy is shit now and even worse tomorrow, right? Like it's not a good place to be. Speaking of Shinzen Young, you see he's just released a new app.
Really?
Yeah, so his 5 ways to know yourself, which is the best. It's what I've followed for my meditation for 4 years now. He's released an app that's just come out that is fantastic. He's coming on the show soon, so if
Nice.
you want, we should try and get him out we should fly him out.
Definitely.
And get him to do a double up. That would be great.
I'd love
He's
to talk to him
so
again.
good, man. I absolutely love that guy. But yeah, the whole envy thing is it is interesting. It's strange to think about how much of this is pointing me toward a virtuous element of somebody that I should pick out. That's a really, really admirable trait. Tiger Woods' work ethic. Can I have that? Can I like try and take that and bring it into myself whilst not taking in the wife running down the driveway with a golf club type thing? Like how can I pick this apart? And when it comes back to shame as well, you don't know the shame that people have to pay in order to do the stuff. So many people, as far as I can see, are driven by fears of insufficiency rather than by a desire to be better. So many of the people that I know that are unbelievably driven human beings are coming at it from a place of lack that they are filling with accomplishments rather than a place of abundance.
Desperation versus inspiration. Desperation is a much stronger driver typically than inspiration. And I think the skill is being able to use both, and putting yourself. And it's a dangerous territory, obviously, because you want to be mindful of what you have. But it's like exposure and response therapy, right? You're afraid of spiders. Okay, you want to get over your fear of spiders? Put a tarantula in a cage. Or maybe start with a picture. Google image search. Look at spiders. Ooh, that's tough. Just do it as much as you can. You'll get used to it. All right, then get a tarantula in a cage. Well, it's not going to fuck you up. First of all, it's a tarantula. They won't bite. Second of all, it's in a cage. And
Do tarantulas not bite?
No, they don't.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I actually did this with my ex-partner, Whitney, who is incredibly arachnophobic. And we were doing this kind of experiment. We got a tarantula in a cage. Didn't go so well. That was too much exposure. And her response was full meltdown, shrieking, crying, but ultimately, like through time and ayahuasca and a variety of things, she ended up having a whole vision with this friendly little tarantula and blah. She made it through, but it was the classic kind of exposure and response. And I think by exposing yourself to these challenging situations and doing it with courage, that gives you the adaptation. But anytime you look away from whatever that thing is, you're denying yourself the opportunity to adapt. It would be like if you're in the middle of a workout and it gets hard and you stop. Well, you're not going to get the adaptation that's going to make you stronger at the end of the day. So with all of these things, it's this kind of like, go into the difficult stuff, go into the uncomfortable, go into the shit, just let it wash over you. Know that you're strong enough and be mindful. Don't do something that's too intense. Like don't go full fear factor if you're arachnophobic and have all the tarantulas crawling around you with an open mouth and having it crawl out of your mouth like you can see on some YouTube videos. Too much. Relax.
That's too much for everybody. It doesn't matter how comfortable you are with spiders. Fuck that, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's this experiment that Jordan Peterson talks about where they put starving mice in a tube and they wafted the smell of cheese in from the front. The rat's got a little spring attached to its tail so it can work out the force that it pulls forward with, and force is equated to desire, right? The harder it pulls, the more it wants it. You think these rats are starving. They smell of cheese from the front. There can't be anything more that they would want to do than stop themselves from starving. They do another iteration of the process, and this time they waft the smell of cheese in from the front and the smell of a cat in from behind. And this time the rats pull even harder. And you go, well, why would that happen, given the fact that they're already starving? And his justification is that not only do you need to run towards something that you want, you need to run away from something that you fear. And I think that that's how can we have the virtuous, conquering, forward-facing desire to make as much of ourselves and our life as we can, and how can we blend that with the fear of what happens if we don't, with a sense of duty, perhaps, to use our brief time on this planet to make it as fantastic and beautiful as we can. Also consider the fact that not following your instinct, which we spoke about earlier, not following the thing that you feel like you're supposed to do, can take you to a place where you don't do the one thing that you can.